This is Tackle Talk Live, an inside scoop on how, when, and where to catch bass, with a primary focus on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Interviews with anglers who are consistent winners on the tournament trail. Your hosts, Camus Boats Pro staffer Steve Graff and Gill Fishing accounts manager Kevin Jean. Two anglers who understand bass fishing with tournament success on all levels. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better fisherman. So sit up and pay close attention as they give detailed tournament information and results. Here are the hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
Welcome to Tackle Talk Live. I'm Diver Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Gill Fishing accounts manager brother Kevin Jean down there in Lafayette, Louisiana. And also, we want to thank Kevin real quick. Cigar Fishing Line is our newest sponsor of the Tackle Talk Live program, and we can't say thank you enough to Drew Davis and all his support for our program, and along with Cigar.
No, absolutely, Steve. I mean, it's stuff that me and you fish with already, have been fishing with for a long time, and now to have them part of the program, I can't be more excited about that for sure.
Yep, that's a good thing. Today, just kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. We've got the Solo 150, the ABA, so we're going to wrap it up on Toledo Bend as Cody Pitt just absolutely dropped the hammer on everybody. And actually Cole Moore, both of those guys really had exceptional tournaments. Kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field, which was kind of no surprise.
And we're kind of used to that.
Yeah, kind of used to that. I don't care what tournament it is, that they're going to shine 9 times out of 10. So, but today we're also going to visit with Toledo Bend guide Matt Loetscher, as he gives us some detail on how to possibly catch some big ones this weekend on the Bob Seeley tournament that's taking place, the Big Bass Splash on Toledo Bend. And we've also got results from Fishers of Men on Rayburn, which was May 4th. We've got Outlaw Skeeter Outdoors owner tournament number 4 that was from Sam Rayburn last week. We got the results of that. And so we're going to give you all the details that we can for both Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Lake levels, they're jumping up. I mean, I know I live right here on Sibley Lake in Natchitoches, and the lake is a foot out of its banks right now. And a lot of these lakes, I see Rayburn is actually above Pool. Hadn't seen that in a long time, Kevin. So the lakes are on the rise again.
Yeah, and you know, the main reason for having Matt on today, Steve, is to give us a lake breakdown. Let's talk about, for these guys that are out of town coming. You know, we got a lot of people, or will have, and I say we got a lot of people coming. I don't live there anymore, and I have to keep getting that through my head. There is a lot of people going to Toledo Bend this weekend that hasn't been there a lot. You know, coming from way out of town. So Matt's going to really give us a lake breakdown. We're going to talk fishing. We're going to talk about what's happening on the lake, water, like you said, lake levels, so on and so forth, but really give everybody a lake breakdown with all the water the lake has had over the past month, what's going on, floodgates, they got generators open, things like that. Matt's going to kind of break it down, and we'll talk some fishing and let him give us a fishing report as well. I think Matt is actually on a fishing trip today, but I think it's a crappie trip. He's been doing a lot of bass trips, but he's been doing crappie as well. I think he has a crappie trip today, but he's going to give us live on the water report. So,
yeah, and all you people that are headed for the Seeley Big Bass Splash, I've got some tips for you as well. I was over at Toledo Bend this past week for about 5 days, 5 out of 6 days. And I can tell you how you can probably get a check, but I don't think you can win it. But you can definitely get a check with the techniques and things I was doing. I'll pass that on to you guys. Hopefully it'll help you. And but looking forward to having Matt on. And we'll see what he's got to say, because he's on the water every single day pretty much. And it's always good to hear from those kind of guys. So we're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to have Matt Loetscher. Stay tuned. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to powerimplements.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Toledo Health, 3J's Four-Way, home of Cypress Knee Outdoors, Cigar Fishing Line, and Power Implements Marine, located right there in Iowa, Louisiana. If you mention Tackle Talk Live, you'll get either $500 off the purchase of a new or used boat, or you'll get a $50 discount off your first service ticket. So just make sure, though, you mention Tackle Talk Live when you go in for your service work, or if you're looking to buy a new boat, Power Implements Marine in Iowa, Louisiana. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got Toledo Bend Guide Matt Loetscher. And Matt, man, hey, thank you for taking time. I know you're on a trip right now, and nothing better to me than a live trip, doing a live show. Hopefully we're going to be hooking up with some big ones while you're out there and pulling some over the rail. And but anyway, man, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. I guess right now, the lake conditions overall right now, obviously the lake is on the rise. Matt, how is that affecting the fishing as we speak?
Yes, sir. It's definitely on the rise from all that rain we've had. You know, it's been a real roller coaster of water level lately. You know, it's just been that up and down, constant water level fluctuation. And it hasn't really fluctuated a ton. It's been fluctuating, you know, basically from about 172 and a quarter up to almost 173. So really about a 6-inch rise and fall has been, you know, over the past few weeks. It's been constantly going up and down with every rain. You know, it rains and then it takes a few days. They kind of get it pulled back down. We've had floodgates open for a while now, and both generators running. So a lot of current moving through the lake, you know, a lot of fresh water moving through. You know, some of the creeks are definitely muddied up. You know, the main lake is still fairly clean for the most part. You know, if you go way up north, it might get dirty a little bit. But it's stayed clean for the most part. You know, it's been, you know, kind of after a while, things start to kind of run clear. You know, all that sediment kind of gets washed out. And so it's water clarity wise, it's really not bad. Really not bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Matt, so for people coming out of town, because there's a lot of things going on right now. You can catch some fish shallow. Of course, water's up in the bushes. You can catch some fish
Right.
out deep, just that time of year. For people that are coming from out of town, if you can say, look, the water is dirty in the back. Most of the creeks are going to be pretty dirty. Main Lake, like you said, is not clear, but it's cleaner. What would you suggest? Man, I think I would focus my time and efforts here.
I would definitely want to stay more toward the main lake, and not just because of water clarity, but just the time of year. You know, these fish, Toledo Bend, especially big Toledo Bend bass, like to be on the main lake this time of the year, especially when that current is running. You know, current is not something we talk about a whole lot on Toledo Bend because we normally don't get a lot of it. But during these flood situations, and they've got the floodgates open, we do definitely have a lot of current. You know, and it kind of, the current is a weird thing because it comes and goes, even though the floodgates are staying the same and the generators are staying the same, staying running all the time. The current still, you know, the wind affects it, and, you know, how much rain is coming downstream and how much flow is let out of Lake Fork and Tawakoni and things like that. You know, there's different variables there, but those fish like to get on that main lake and get in that current. So I would definitely encourage them to stay near the main lake, or if you go in the creeks, at least stay near the creek channels in the creeks.
And the reason we have current is because, I mean, they've had the generators been running 2 generators 24 hours for, gosh, I don't know how long now. But the floodgates, they have been open for a couple weeks now, and they're going to stay open all the way through this event. I know we've got another like 2 or 3 inches of rain coming, I know, on Thursday. So they're going to have to keep these floodgates open. So you're 100% right. Toledo Bend is not known for current, but when you have generators running 24/7 and the floodgates open the past 2 or 3 weeks, it creates that current.
Absolutely. Yeah. And another thing too about concentrating on the main lake, you know, this year we had a pretty stable, I don't want to say low, but not a high water level for sure throughout most of the spring. And so a lot of those fish had already spawned and kind of got back out into those areas before all this water level came up. You know, if we had it high earlier, some of them would have stayed up more in the creeks and coves and things like that. But with it being, you know, later when it hit, they've already kind of got out there, and once they're out there, they don't, you know, a few will pull back up. And, you know, not to say fish won't be shallow, like you had mentioned, you know, there's definitely an opportunity to catch fish shallow right now. You can catch them lots of different ways right now.
Yeah, and that's where I want to go next. Technique, Matt. Like right now, if you're looking to catch the winning fish, let's say you're going after a big fish, 7 pounds or better. Would you want to tie on a 10, 11 inch worm? Would you want to go Carolina rig, throw a jig, football jig? I mean, give us an idea of what you would possibly do to maybe if you're focusing on the bigger fish right now.
Well, the first one you said is definitely going to be one of my first picks, the big worm. My top two would definitely be the big crankbait and the big worm. Those two, just year in, year out, live scope or no live scope, those two produce big fish in May on Toledo Bend. You know, another one, of course, can be a jig. The Carolina rig definitely has the potential to catch a big fish, but it tends to be more of a numbers bait. So, you know, and some of that depends on what you put on it. You know, you can put a big worm on a Carolina rig. It's not something people do a lot, but you can do that, especially if the fish are a little lethargic, not biting real good. You know, you can slow it down, put a long leader with a big worm on that Carolina rig. That's a good way to go. But definitely my top two would be the big crankbait, anything from something that dives anywhere from 12 to 20 feet. And then, but, you know, bigger size, you know, regardless of the size of the bill, I'm going to want a fairly good size plug. And then the big worm are definitely going to be the top two.
Matt, when we're talking about kind of structure to throw these baits around offshore, we talking main, and you said, you know, hence we're talking main lake stuff. So we talking, what have you seen lately and heard the better fish reports, the fishing reports come from? What have you seen yourself as far as catching fish, main lake points, you know, just structure or, you know, off brush piles offshore? What would you recommend looking for this weekend?
Pretty typical stuff, like you had mentioned there. You know, you're going to want to look to your main lake points. You know, and not just the points. You know, it can be the big flats that extend way out into the lake. You know, they this time of the year they like an area where there's an extended kind of slow sloping area, right? Like like a long tapering point and that kind of thing. And of course, there's going to be a
especially
sweet spot,
with the
right?
current that
They're
we
not
just
going to
talked
be
about. Yes.
correct. Yeah. So the current, to me, the current kind of pulls them away from the brush piles and those things.
Right.
They tend to get away from a lot of that cover. They don't want to. It seems like they don't want to sit up in the trees as much. You know, sometimes if there's no current, especially if it's bright and sunny, they'll suspend up in those trees and those brush piles. But when there's current running, they like to get down near the bottom. They're going to position around those main lake points and ridges, and those little hard spots. I like to find that hard bottom, of course. Look for basically your main lake points and ridges, and then find the key spot on that point or ridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and another place you can look, and this is getting pretty specific, Matt, but I think it's something, I know it's something I'd be looking to do because I've been over there the last week. Deep water boat docks on main lake points. With current coming through, those big fish will set up on the end of those boat docks in 12 to 15 foot.
Absolutely, they will, especially first thing in the morning. You know, if it's a dock that has lights on it and those fish will be feeding around those docks at night, then first thing in the morning, a lot of times they're still hanging around them before they pull out. And then, like you said, some of them will sit there all day. You know, if it's a current break type deal, kind of back to the structure deal, and it applies to the boat docks too. Anytime the fish tend to like to get on the sides of the points, and whether it's on a boat dock or whatever is there on the sides of the points, you know, if you've got some harder bottom off of one side, where that current's kind of rushing over that point, you know, washing that silt off and keeping that clay cleaned out, that's the kind of places those fish like to get right now.
Yeah. Matt, last few questions here. I know you got to go. Like you said, you're on a trip. Let's talk about not really winning weight of the overfish. I want to get your prediction on that as well. But give me your bottom fish. What will it take to get a check? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you?
Yeah.
What would it take to get a check? I'm saying 4-pounder. It's going to take a 4-pounder to get a check.
I think you're about right on that. I think, you know, just thinking about history once again, you know, even on a tough year on Toledo Bend, it tends to take about a 4-pounder or better to get the last place check in this Sealy tournament. Usually the first few hours of the day, you might see a heavy 3 squeak in there, and sometimes, but usually it's going to take about a 4-pounder or better because, and the lake's really healthy right now. You know, Toledo Bend's fishing better than it has in quite some time. And so in my opinion, it's as healthy as it's been in probably 10 years, maybe more. And a lot of big fish are being caught this year, you know, and I think it's going to take about a 4-pounder. Yep.
Yeah. That's good. That's pretty accurate. And based off the tournament I fished last weekend, I mean, and maybe by Sunday, you might get by with a 380, 390, something like that, maybe drop into the upper threes, but Friday and Saturday, you're probably going to have some good weight. So, especially around that 4-pound mark. But anyway, humps and ridges, Matt, I didn't fish that this past weekend, but I think there were a couple of guys that did, had a little success on them. Are they showing up on those, or is that just basically a night thing right now?
You may find some. Are you talking about more of the isolated kind of humps?
Yeah, the isolated humps and ridges.
The stuff not connected to the bank.
Right.
You know, this time of year they do tend to be on the stuff that's more connected to the bank because it's still early enough. It hasn't been long ago that they transitioned away from the bank. So I like to focus this time of year on the stuff that's still connected to the bank, topographically, you know.
And you're basically talking about the long tapering points, right? Those long tapering points.
Those long tapering points and big flats, you know, that run out, little high spots and rough spots along those points and flats. Yep.
Okay. All right. Kevin, you got anything? What else we got?
I think that's it. I kind of think we gave us a breakdown of what we were needing. Matt, as far as, you know, we talked about the dirt, the stained water coming from up north. How far down the lake has that stained water gotten in the main lake? Where does it start to get cleaner in the main lake, down the lake?
You know, I haven't been really far up north personally lately. But I can tell you, I've been as far north as about Blue Lake. As a matter of fact, I was up there just a couple days ago, and it was not very dirty there. So my guess would be the last time I went way up, it was about probably San Patricio, maybe just a little bit above. I'd say somewhere around there. You know, usually out in
Yeah.
front of San Patricio is where you're going to really start to see that main lake change color.
Right.
Yeah.
From there up, it would be my best guess right now, because like I said, I know Blue Lake looked okay. So,
Okay.
you know, if you go to the Texas side, like over toward the Chicken Coop and Martinez in there, you know, you got that main river flow there. Sometimes that mud will kind of push toward that side, and the Louisiana side will be a little bit cleaner. So, you know, somewhere in there, if you kind of draw like a diagonal line kind of from like Martinez, like the south point of Martinez up to the south point of San Patricio, I'd say kind of like right through there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
Good
about
deal.
right. All right, Matt, if anybody wants to get in touch with you to take a trip, whether it's crappie, white bass, whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
You can give us a call at 318-256-8991, or you can just go to our website, ltd.fish.
All right. Matt Loetscher. Matt, thank you, bud. Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
Matt.
bud.
Thank y'all for having me. Have a good day.
All right. Kevin gave some great detail there, good information that people can pretty much, you know, bank on. I mean, we know Matt's on the water all the time. He gives great reports.
He's on the water every day right now.
Yes.
He's doing from largemouth to white bass to crappie. He's doing it all right now. But it's the main reason I wanted to have Matt on is to give us a lake breakdown. Look, everybody kind of knows it's Toledo Bend, and you know this Sealy event. You just kind of go fishing. So we really wanted to give a more of a lake breakdown of what's going on with all this high water and all the floodgates and generators being out. Kind of want to really get a lake breakdown from him, what's going on lake, and man, he laid it out perfect for us.
And I can everything he said was basically right, spot on, because I fished from 1215 south all the way to Mid Lake to Cypress Bend. No muddy water, basically. Even in the back, they were fairly clean. I was a little surprised. Main Lake, though, is where it's at. I'm just telling you. If you find bushes, cypress trees, they're on the main lake right now, and that's where your better fish are coming from. The one thing I was doing, I threw a jig the other day. All 5 of my keepers on day 2 came on a jig. The first day, 2 were on a worm, 3 were on a jig. Flipping the bushes right now. Boat docks, though, I'm telling you, there are some fish on boat docks. The end of the boat docks, every fish I caught off a boat dock was on a corner, every single one of them, and it was easy for me to put a pattern together pretty quick. Caught a lot of fish doing it, but my better fish were in the bushes. And so if you want to, I'll tell you another way. There's in certain areas, Kevin, there's some hay grass around some of the bushes. When you find hay grass around in bushes, you better have a white frog in your hand, because I'm telling you, they will eat it right now. They're on a white frog as well. And and folks, that's as good a way to catch a big fish as you're going to tie on right now, especially with top water. That frog can be deadly, and they are on a white frog around the hay grass, especially if you got hay grass around a cypress tree or around the bushes. They are there. You just got to figure out how to make them bite. But anyway, that's based off my experience this past weekend, and had a good tournament. And Toledo Bend is fishing really good right now. So, but we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we've got upcoming tournaments. We've got Fishers of Men results from 2 weeks ago. Kevin's got the Skeeter Outlaw results, and I've got the ABA Solo 150 results. But when we return, we'll have all that and more. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Pride Rods, custom-built fishing rods made to handle any and all techniques. Fishing rods designed for sensitivity and made to last in Montgomery, Texas. Built by Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up to try it for yourself. Take pride in your fishing by using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches, and Bravos, Texas. Or give them a call at 936-205-4467. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
This is Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Seagar Fishing Line, Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, and Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. Kevin, if you mention Tackle Talk Live, what happens?
$500 any purchase of a new or used boat, and you get or you get $50 off a service ticket if you go by and get some service work done. So, guys, make sure to mention Tackle Talk Marine at Power Implements and save you some big-time money.
Yep. And we appreciate not only them, but all of our sponsors. Can't say thank you enough. Real quick, Kevin, Fishers of Men, which was 2 weeks ago. This trail just continues to amaze me as a guy that's fished it several years ago, and I loved fishing Fishers of Men. It was a great tournament trail with a great purpose. And but since they started guaranteeing $10,000 per tournament, the numbers of they're averaging 100 anglers pretty much per event, 100 boats. And Wade LeBlanc and Mike Holland, it was on Sam Rayburn. They won this event with 24.27. Second place was Wyatt Frankins and Shane Campbell. They were second with 22 even. And then Lynn Adcock and Ryan McWilliams were third with 18.3. Fourth place was Stephen Nito and Larry Paskett. They were fourth with 17.69. Robert Moore, David Atwell were fifth with 17.16. Toby Johnson, Sam Huckabee. Know Sam very well. They were sixth with 15.64. Todd DeClaris and Troy DeClaris were seventh with 15.01. Eighth was Robert Neal Jr., John Smith with 14.82. Ninth was Jimmy Harris, Sherry Harris with 14.8. And rounding out the top 10, Theodore Thibodeau and Jessica Thibodeau come in 10th with 14.54. So good job by all these people, and good job by that tournament trail. I mean, again, they just continue to do a great job each and every event, Kevin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This past weekend, Steve, the Outlaw Outdoors Skeeters tournament was on Sam Rayburn. Let's see here. First place paying $5,000 to William Messer and Caden Solomon had 25.50. Second place, Billy Donahoe and Grover Mansfield had 22.19. Third place, Kevin Walford, Patrick Rainey had 21.83. Fourth place, Lynn Adcock, Ryan McWilliams had 21.56. And fifth place, Matthew McCardle and Garrett Lindsay had 21.41. We paid all the way down to 15th place. $500 was 16.23 pounds. So
wow, that's good.
Yeah,
pretty good weights right there. Rayburn they're still catching them over there.
Yeah.
So that's good. Toledo Bend, this is the ABA Solo 150. Cody Pitt, he dropped the hammer on everybody, which is pretty become routine for Cody. He had 10 fish, a 2-day event. He had 42.12 for both days. He had a 785 big fish. I'm not sure which day. I think it was day one. He had 26.68 on day one, 21.94 on day two. Second place was Cole Moore from Manny, Louisiana. He had 46.68 total, so about a little less than 3 pounds behind Cody. He had 22.88 on day one, 23.80 on day two. Jeremy Masters, Fisher, Louisiana, was third with 35.46. Zachary Fogel was fourth from Longview with 33.03. Yours truly, myself, was fifth with 30.81. Cole Garrett was sixth from Winfield with 29.70. Walt Stevens was 7th with 27.25. Walt, by the way, is, I think, in second place for Angler of the Year. He won the Lake of the Pines tournament, but Zach Fogel is now leading AOY with one tournament left. We go to Rayburn for in the second week of June. Chris Chitty from Canton, Texas was 8th with 27.23. 9th was Ryan Wilkerson from Manny with 25.40. And round at the top 10 was Jimmy Hickman from Shreveport with 24.17. So good job by all those guys, and enjoyed it.
Did you have 15 each day, Steve? I know you had 30. Did you have 15 each day?
Let's see here. I had 1487 on day 1, 1594 on day 2. Gotcha. What I wish I'd have done on day 1, I didn't go to the bushes till day 2, and that was a mistake. I'd scouted bushes and found some fish, but it was a pretty good run to get to them from where I was at. But I decided at 12 o'clock, I had about 10 pounds in the boat at 12 noon on Saturday. I said, that's it, I'm going. So I made the run north, and took me about 20 minutes to get there. And as soon as I got there, I culled every fish in the live well and added some weight and got me up to 15 plus. And I actually made a mistake. I'm going to tell on myself, because in my entire career since 1990, have I ever done this? I threw back a fish that I was not supposed to throw back. Yeah. That is the first time it's ever happened to me. I'm using the new Bubba scales, and I'm still getting familiar with them. And I just it was a goofball mistake on my part, but I made it up. I got that weight back with my next fish. Okay. And again, I was flipping the jig, green pumpkin jig with chartreuse in it right now with a green pumpkin. I was throwing the V&M, J-Bug and green pumpkin, dipping the tail, and I'm telling you right now, they were eating that freaking bait. I caught them. I've been catching them on it for 4 or 5 days, and that's how I caught my weight. Was in the bushes on day 2. So, but anyway, good turnout, good event. The next one, I'm really hoping that Sam Rayburn. There's nothing, and guys, if you're looking to fish something, and you want to give this a try, because one of the things I posted a question this week on Facebook, why an ABA Solo 150 drawing? A lot of answers, a lot of reasons for that. We all know too many circuits, blah, blah, blah. But guys, there is nothing going on June 14th and 15th. All the tournament trails are pretty much done except for a championship or 2. And hey, show out for this. Show up at the Solo 150, go to ABA, register for the Solo 150. We want to get 100. We want to get 100 anglers in that tournament. Let's shoot for 100, and let's see if we can make this happen. This is a good circuit. Chris Wayand does a great job with it, and if we get 100, probably fishing for $15,000 for first place for a 2-day event. So, could be a really good event.
Right. Steve, this weekend, I'm hoping the weather holds off Thursday. We got some weather coming through Thursday. Looks like some rain on Friday. I'm trying to come up. I don't know for sure yet. I'm trying to come fish. I haven't been on Toledo. I haven't been fishing in a while. Trying to come up and go fishing, kind of waiting to see how some things play out, if I'm gonna be able to or not. But it's looking like a good weekend as far as weather goes for this weekend. So I'm hoping Bob and them have. I know they'll have a great turnout. There's going to be people everywhere. Toledo Bend's fishing really well. So look to have a really good turnout this weekend for the Sealy as well. Yeah,
Friday could maybe be your only iffy day, but I think it's early morning, showers, and then by noon I think it's gone.
Right.
So it should be, like you said, Saturday I think it's a beautiful day. Sunday's a beautiful day, and so if you're looking for something to fish, hey, go support Bob Sealy. Nobody does it better than Bob Sealy, and you got a chance to win a bunch of money. So
right.
But anyway, also coming up, we've got the ABA Pro League this weekend. The Texas division is this weekend on Lake Palestine. That's where I will be. I'll be headed that way. Brandon Belt is also this weekend, May 18th and 19th on Lake of the Pines. I'm sure they'll have a tremendous turnout for that event. And I want to warn everybody that goes to Lake of the Pines, whatever you do on Friday, trust me, Saturday, Lake of the Pines is a zoo. That place gets so many pleasure boaters, jet skiers, tubers, party barge people. It is party central on Lake of the Pines on a Saturday, especially right now. Yeah. And so you guys are going to have to compete with that. So whatever you do on Friday, if you're going to hit main lake stuff, I highly recommend you hit it early in the morning, because by 10 o'clock, the main lake muddies up pretty quick because of all the traffic and boat activity. But anyway, Kevin, I think we got the Skeeter Outlaw Championship.
Yeah, so Steve, starting June, a lot of the championships are starting up. First weekend in June 1st and 2nd is the Skeeter Outlaw Championship, the Outlaw Outdoor Skeeter Championship. First weekend of June. The very next weekend, June 8th and 9th, is the Texas Team Trail Championship on Toledo Bend.
Right.
So, championship season is upon us. Also that weekend, 7th, 8th, and 9th, is the Skeeter Owners Tournament on Lake Forks. Don't forget about that weekend as well. So.
Right. And and lake levels, real quick, I've got lake level reports up to date. Here's what as of this morning. Toledo Bend 172.89. It's difference of 10.68 inches above pool. It's had a 10-day gain of 0.12 inches, 24-hour gain of 2.52 inches in 24 hours. Yeah. So it's coming up just as fast as they're letting it out, pretty much. Rayburn, this is the one that surprised me. Rayburn is now 166.76, a difference of 2.36 feet, which is 2.36 feet above pool. I hadn't been above pool in quite a while. 10-day gain of 4.09 feet in 10 days. 24-hour gain of 9.12 inches. So that just tells you how much water is coming in, Kevin, to these.
We've had a lot of rain the past 2 weeks. We got a lot of rain coming again Thursday. So these lakes are going to continue to rise. I know Toledo, they've got the floodgates open. They got the generators running. They're pumping it out, but we got a lot coming in as well.
Yes, we do. And okay, hey, man, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Good luck to everybody fishing the Sealy event this week. Be safe out there. There's going to be a lot of people on the water, a lot of weekenders as well. Just have the weekend off. Toledo Bend is a very popular place to be. Be safe, be careful, and hopefully we will have the winner on next week to kind of talk about how it all went down.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, I want to thank you for tuning us in today. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, however way you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on Facebook, and Kevin will send you a detailed packet out to you, giving you all the information you need to know of how to become a sponsor of Tackle Talk Live. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.